Hey everybody, it's Stephanie with Informed Parents of California, and today I want to talk to you about consent. In California, a bill was passed, AB 329 in 2015, which is the California Healthy Youth Act, and one of the concerning things in this bill, it's a law now, so one of the concerning things in this law is that it mandates that kids are taught negotiation skills. These negotiation skills lessons are actually lessons on how to give and receive consent. We're talking about giving, receiving consent for children, for sex. Now, if that alone doesn't concern you, I will tell you something else that really concerns me about this. Not only is it mandated once in junior high, once in high school, it can be taught at any grade, kindergarten through 12th grade. We're starting at 5-year-olds where they want to teach our 5-year-olds and up how to give and receive consent for sex. What happened to teaching our kids that no matter what, nobody touches you in the private parts, right? We don't negotiate on who can touch us where and how. You know what I mean? And they want to teach our children how to negotiate for sex. There's something seriously wrong with that. So another thing that's concerning me is this video that somebody shared with me last year. And I'm going to show you where this whole teaching kids how to give and receive consent is. So we're going to show you the video right now, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to tell you, why this is very dangerous.
Physical and psychical response.
Yes, a child is able to recognize a pleasurable experience. He is able to recognize a pleasing emotional experience. He is able to express consent and to recognize that this is something he wishes to continue. And a responsible, caring pedophile it always refers to the wishes of the child.
It's very dangerous to teach kids how to give and receive consent. Teaching children as young as 5 years old in kindergarten how to give and receive consent for sex will make it so we do not need consent laws. Do you see how the stage is being set where the lawmakers in California and the California Department of Education are creating laws and policies that will help overturn laws like consent laws that protect our children? I'm wondering what the state of California is doing. Who's really behind this agenda to sexualize our children, to bring comprehensive sexual education? And that's another thing. Think about that. When was the first time you heard the terminology comprehensive sexual education? I know for myself was about 2 years ago. And many people that I ask about this, they tell me it's the last few years, if not most recently, because they just found out about it. I know when I was in high school, and that was back in the 90s, they never talked about comprehensive sexual education. They talked about sex ed. Even in the early 2000s, it's been sex ed until recently. But I'm going to show you a little bit more of that clip.
What do you feel?
I feel that PI is not a procurement agency for children, never has been and never will be. Our political objectives include developing a society where children are given a much higher status than today, where they are recognised as individuals in their own right, and this includes recognising their right to certain sexual freedoms, whilst protecting them from the kind of criminal assaults which took place in Brighton.
But surely it's a question of recognising children's maturity, and how can you have an equal relationship, which is what I take a mature sexual relationship to be, between an adult and a child who is not mature in body, in mind, or personal awareness? It has to be unequal.
I don't accept that this concept of maturity at all. Adults, for instance, aren't necessarily mature. It's a long process.
Well, I take it for granted that no adult is probably ever mature, but nevertheless, my state of maturity, or your state of maturity, is clearly different from that of a child of 12. How can there be an equal relationship which allows them sex, which is usually a shocking experience for everybody at some time or another? How can you allow an equal relationship between two people so unequally positioned at the starting off point.
I don't accept that sex is a spontaneously shocking experience.
But I'm saying, to some stage or other, there is an element of shocking sex.
Not if children are properly educated about sex, and it's an obligation on society to see that children are given a far more comprehensive sexual education from a far earlier age.
But in that case, they find it out, they discover this with people of their own age and in their own time. And it is the question.
That clip speaks for itself, doesn't it? This isn't a new agenda. Comprehensive sexual education is not a new thing. It goes back decades and decades. And we just saw some of the people who are behind it, pushing it, who need it to have access to our kids. It is time for us parents to say enough is enough. Stop falling for their lies. Help share this video to expose why they really want to teach our kids as young as 5 years old, where they're making laws so they can put it in schools to teach our kids how to give and receive consent for sex. It actually says in the law, negotiation skills. We're talking about negotiation skills for child sex. Join us. Join other organizations across California, parents, community members, grandparents, churches, pastors, everybody you can talk to. Join us together to stand up, because the parent revolution has begun, and we will stop at nothing to protect our kids.